Muscle cars that should have been superstars, but weren't. Not every muscle car lived up to its potential. Some had the power, the looks, and the right formula, but still faded into obscurity. Today, we'll uncover 3 muscle cars that deserved greatness but never got it. 1. 1971 AMC Javelin AMX. The 1971 AMC Javelin AMX was bold, futuristic, and designed to stand out in a crowded muscle car market. It came with aggressive styling, long hood lines, and a wide stance that made it look ready for battle. AMC positioned it as both a muscle car and a road racer, competing directly with Mustangs and Camaros. The top engine option was the 401 cubic inch V8, producing up to 330 horsepower. On paper, this was more than enough to put the Javelin AMX in the spotlight. It also had racing pedigree, as AMC sponsored NASCAR teams that actually used the Javelin. But despite its strong performance, sales lagged behind the big 3 competitors. One issue was AMC's reputation. It was always seen as the underdog automaker. Customers preferred more familiar names like Ford and Chevrolet. The Javelin also launched at a difficult time, with insurance rates for muscle cars skyrocketing. This meant young buyers couldn't afford to insure cars like the AMX. The styling, while unique, was polarizing and not loved by everyone. Some thought it looked too strange compared to the clean lines of the Camaro. Still, those who bought it praised its handling, especially with the Go package performance option. The Javelin AMX was one of the few muscle cars with a genuine focus on balance and cornering. It wasn't just a straight-line rocket. It could actually carve up a racetrack. But all of this wasn't enough to save AMC from financial struggles. The Javelin AMX quickly disappeared into obscurity as the muscle car era faded. Today, it's considered one of the most underrated muscle cars of the 1970s. Collectors now recognize its value and uniqueness. Restored examples can fetch surprising prices at auctions. What makes the Javelin AMX special is its underdog spirit. It proved that AMC could build a world-class muscle car. It may not have sold in huge numbers, but it left behind a cult following. Its futuristic look now feels ahead of its time. For enthusiasts, it represents the bold creativity of AMC. The car showed that sometimes being different is the true legacy. With its rarity today, spotting one feels like discovering treasure. It deserved to be a superstar, but instead became a forgotten hero. The Javelin AMX is proof that not all legends are born. Some are rediscovered later. And when you see one today, you realize AMC built something truly special. 2. 1969 Mercury Cyclone CJ. The 1969 Mercury Cyclone CJ was designed to be Mercury's ultimate muscle car. It had the big 428 Cobra Jet V8 under the hood. This engine was famous for its raw torque and drag strip dominance. With factory ratings of 335 horsepower, the Cyclone CJ was no joke. But in reality, it produced far more power than advertised. The car looked aggressive with its fastback roofline and sharp lines. Mercury marketed it as a performance-oriented car for serious drivers. But the problem was, Mercury wasn't as popular as Ford. The Cyclone CJ lived in the shadow of the Mustang and Torino Cobra. It had all the muscle, but not the same recognition. The Cyclone was heavier than some competitors, which hurt its street reputation. It was powerful in a straight line, but didn't handle as well as some rivals. Despite this, it became a favorite for drag racers. The 428 Cobra Jet made it a monster on the quarter mile. Still, sales were limited, and it never broke into the mainstream. Insurance companies also targeted big block muscle cars, making it harder to own. This limited its audience even further. The Cyclone CJ was truly a victim of timing. If it had come out a few years earlier, it could have been huge. Instead, it faded away in the early 70s. Today, the Cyclone CJ is a rare sight at shows. Collectors who know about it appreciate its uniqueness. It stands as a reminder that Mercury tried to step into the muscle car war. But with Ford dominating the spotlight, Mercury always came second. The styling, while bold, wasn't as iconic as the Mustang or Charger. This also hurt its long-term popularity. But the performance numbers tell a different story. The Cyclone CJ could outrun many of its rivals. It's a true hidden gem of the muscle car era. For enthusiasts, it's a symbol of what could have been. Today, it remains one of Mercury's most exciting yet forgotten creations. A muscle car that deserved stardom, but never fully got it. The Cyclone CJ still proves its worth every time it fires up that 428 Cobra jet. 3. 1970 Chrysler 300. Hurst. The 1970 Chrysler 300 Hurst was one of the most unusual muscle cars ever built. It wasn't a small coupe or pony car. It was a massive luxury car. Chrysler wanted to blend performance with prestige. So they teamed up with Hurst Performance, famous for their shifters and special edition cars. The result was the massive 300 Hurst, finished in white and gold. Under the hood sat a 440 cubic inch V8 with 375 horsepower. This gave it serious muscle despite its size. The car was huge, weighing over 4,000 pounds, yet it could still move fast on the highway. Chrysler marketed it as a gentleman's muscle car. It came with leather seats, luxury features, and an upscale vibe. But despite its uniqueness, it never sold in large numbers. Buyers didn't know what to make of it. Was it a luxury car or a muscle car? The 300 Hurst sat in a strange middle ground. This confusion limited its success. Only a small number were built, making it rare today. Collectors love it because of its rarity and bold styling. The gold accents and Hurst touches make it instantly recognizable. It represents a time when Chrysler experimented with muscle car luxury. The performance was respectable for its size, but it could never compete with lighter, faster rivals like the Cuda or Charger. Still, it was perfect for highway cruising. It offered a mix of comfort and power few cars had. The Hurst name gave it credibility among enthusiasts, yet it still didn't break into mainstream success. It was too niche for mass appeal. Today, the Chrysler 300 Hurst is considered a collector's dream. Its rarity makes it one of the most valuable forgotten muscle cars. It shows how muscle cars came in all shapes and sizes. The Chrysler 300 Hurst was ahead of its time in blending luxury with performance. It deserved more recognition, but instead became a hidden legend. Now, it's finally getting the respect it missed back in 1970. These three cars, the AMC Javelin AMX, Mercury Cyclone CJ, and Chrysler 300 Hurst, all had the ingredients to be muscle car legends. They had power, style, and unique personalities. But timing, competition, and circumstances kept them from superstardom. Each one represents a fascinating what-if in automotive history. They may not have dominated sales charts, but today they shine as rare treasures. Collectors and enthusiasts now see their true value. In many ways, they're even more interesting than the mainstream muscle cars, because being underrated often means being unique. And when you find one of these forgotten legends, you realize how special they really are. Sometimes the cars that weren't superstars become the most memorable of all.